Hello, patriots, praying citizens, and truth seekers. It is the wee hours of the morning of August 29th, and I have been going through the Q posts from August 28th on Tuesday. There's a huge volume of posts, so I hope you can get yourself comfortable and sit back, get your favorite beverage, maybe a snack, and we will go through these as quickly as we can. I don't have as much research done as I'd like to, just because of the sheer volume of the posts. So if you have anything to add, please do so in the comments. I really appreciate you. All right, so we start out with post number 1940, and Q has picked a couple of videos to show us, and these are movie clips from The Sum of All Fears, one of the movies that Q likes to send us to. So let's take a look at this. This is the speech by the guy named Dressler, and Dressler is a pro-fascist character. He gives a speech about what happened in Nazi Germany, and he says that most people think fascism was a hiccup. Today we know better. Communism was a fool's errand. He said the followers of Hitler abound and thrive. Hitler's great disadvantage was that fascism needed a strong host like a virus to spread. But strong as it was, Germany couldn't prevail because the world was too big. And then he says, now he's speaking as the one who plots the bombing of the Super Bowl in this movie. And he says that fortunately the world has changed with communication, television, media. The virus doesn't need a stronger host to spread. He says this virus is airborne. No one should call us crazy. They called Hitler crazy. Hitler wasn't crazy. He was stupid. You don't fight Russia and America. You get Russia and America to fight each other and destroy each other. That's this one. And then he shows this clip, which is the same movie. And this is the very end where this guy, who is a Russian spy, is speaking to Jack Ryan. Let me see, they don't really show the three of, there we go, shows the three of them together. They're sitting outside, you see the White House in the background. He has proposed to his girlfriend, and no one knows yet. But this guy, who is a spy, a Russian spy, knows and offers a small gift. And basically, the conversation talks about sources keep back channels open in the hopes of staving off disaster. So anyway, that's what Q wanted us to see with that. All right, back to the Q posts. Was Nazism ever truly destroyed? Was it merely a subdivision within a larger organization? One finger attached to a hand? Did Antifa organically form? Flag design a coincidence? We know that that's not a coincidence. Socialist push in the U.S. and worldwide, is that a coincidence? It's a global power struggle. There is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which they must not advance. Okay, and that he is referring to this. And this is a video. It's President Reagan delivering a speech. It's really good. I recommend you listen to it, you watch it if you can. The quote that I just picked here: freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. And that's Ronald Reagan's speech. And then these two quotes that he used at the bottom, Q did. There's a price we will not pay. There's a point beyond which they must not advance. And then we, the people. The other video that's at the bottom is the speech, a campaign speech by Donald Trump. I had this great idea that I was going to sit down and transcribe it so I could just read the speech to you, but Q posted so many things today I didn't get to it. But eventually I will get to it. And if you have not seen the video, I think it's a very important video to the whole Q movement, and you should probably take time to look at it. It's only 5 minutes long. All right, then this next one, Fox News. FBI agent says the Bureau leaked stories, then used them to get FISA warrants. Here's the story. GOP representative touches off firestorm with claim that the FBI leaked information, used stories to get FISA warrants. This is kind of old news. So Mark Meadows, I've talked about this in my report yesterday, posted this on Twitter. We've learned new information suggesting our suspicions are true. FBI DOJ have previously leaked info to the press and then used those same press stories as a separate source to justify getting FISA warrants. Unreal. Tomorrow's Bruce Orr interview is even more critical. Did he ever do this? That was yesterday, so Bruce Orr testified behind closed doors today. And then we have this. The claim stemmed in part from FBI intelligence analyst Jonathan Moffa's Friday testimony behind closed doors before the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees. But what exactly Moffa told the committees is a matter of dispute. A source with knowledge of the testimony initially told Fox News that Moffa said FBI personnel would use media reports based on information they leaked to justify applications for FISA warrants. And this echoes what Mark Meadows said. The source said Moffa, who worked with controversial former FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, acknowledged that this had been a practice in the past. And Q says, watch Iran. Something incredible is about to happen. Hassan Rouhani. The good people of Iran have the power. Fight for your freedom. Okay, let me just take you to the story in my newsletter, which is probably going to go out sometime on Wednesday. So what happened was, Trump pulled all the resources from Iran. He imposed, the sanctions haven't taken place yet, but they will. And no one who does business with the U.S. will be allowed to do business with Iran. It's like choose a side. And then you have Obama, who was funneling all that cash into Iran, and then Hillary was going to do the same. Well, that flow of money got cut off because Trump was elected, thank God. So you have Iran's President Rouhani on Tuesday being censured by the parliament because they voted to reject his explanation for Iran's severe economic hardships and the devaluation of the currency. He blamed it on the perspective of the Iranian people. Rouhani claimed the country is not in a crisis and said that if the people see the government is united, they will be satisfied. He added, "We will not allow a bunch of anti-Iranians who have gathered in the White House to conspire against us." Okay, so you've got people protesting, you've got things not looking good for Rouhani. I don't imagine that he will be able to stick it out much longer. Then in this newsletter, I go into all the stuff about the money, the $1.7 billion, which we will get to later in the Q posts. Whoops. All right, so now we've got this one, and this is a huge post, and I'll go through and explain as much as I can. So FISA, ABCs versus INSCOM. So the FISA application and the whole FISA warrant process with the ABC agencies versus INSCOM. So what is INSCOM? It is the United States Army counterintelligence. It's a component of the U.S. Army, the military intelligence, which conducts counterintelligence activities to detect, identify, assess, counter, exploit, and or neutralize adversarial foreign intelligence services, international terrorist organizations, and insider threats to the U.S. Army and the Department of Defense. Okay, so no foreign. I don't know if that means no foreign agencies. I don't know. NSA, INSCOM bridge. So there is a bridge between the two organizations. The FISA equals the FIS court, which is a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. Who is accountable to Congress? Civilian body. Which one? Define state secrets. Process of obtaining a FISA warrant. What must be demonstrated for this to be granted? Well, you have to demonstrate probable cause that the target is a foreign power or an agent of a foreign power. And if it's on an American, it has to be signed by 4 people at the Department of Justice and the FBI. Can select individuals in senior positions of power be shadow banned from active FISA warrants / surveillance? National security. Sufficient evidence shown to demonstrate rogue elements of intelligence apparatus illegally violated FISA law, the tenets, in coordinated effort with Democrats plus foreign allies to impact or modify the outcome of the 2016 presidential election and safeguard against future uncover / criminal prosecution? ? Who must sign off on FISA warrants? ? Who directs the signers? Now, I did read on the Wikipedia page that a president can get FISA warrants on his own. He doesn't have to go get them through the court. Who directs the signers? Given the magnitude of the spy campaign, U.S. presidential election, Republican Party nominee candidate plus president-elect plus President of the United States, would Hussein be required to direct the order? I would imagine he would want to. How would updates occur? Presidential daily briefing. Who has access to the presidential daily briefing? Supposedly just a small quantity of people around the president. So in Obama's White House, that would certainly include Valerie Jarrett. And then it was delivered by John Brennan, the CIA director, I would think, him and probably the FBI. On-site classified briefings, situation room, Oval Office, and then this PEC is the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, which is a bunker-like structure that lies underground beneath the east wing of the White House and serves as a secure shelter and communications center for the president and other protectees in case of an emergency. And then N-C, which I have no idea what that means. How often does a president use this Presidential Emergency Operations Center? Well, I know it was used during 9/11. Now he takes us to this interesting little article. This is from the Washingtonian. It is old, February 1st, 2013. Picture of Barack Obama in the Oval Office in 2011. I'm just going to read this to you. As part of a major 2-year overhaul of the West Wing, President Obama will move into a replica of the Oval Office, which will be located in the Eisenhower Executive Office building adjacent to the White House. Okay, so it will be ready by August if the president is ready to move and if design challenges are resolved. Most intriguing still is why the president is being relocated at all. For months now, the speculation among some of my sources has been that the White House is building a secure command and control facility underneath the existing structure. These people used to work in the White House in national security positions, and their informed speculation is that the president is going to get a state-of-the-art bunker from which he would be able to issue commands in a time of emergency, such as a terrorist attack on Washington. Okay, the existing bunker is not up to the task. It's old. It was used by Dick Cheney on September 11th in 2001. The communications are not good. They couldn't keep up with each other. And it says here that the PEOC is a Cold War relic outfitted with some sleeping quarters and provisions and a small for the president and a small number of staff, but it's not capable of serving as a modern command post. Okay, so anyway, it's talking about this bunker, and I don't know whatever happened to it. This is just what Q sent us to. There doesn't seem to be an update on it yet. All right. So, could FISA warrants be issued active for numerous in the news now / future U.S. targets? Foreign tangent required to obtain warrant to spy on U.S. and then ORIG originated. I don't know. I would think I don't understand why it's this word. I would think it means to spy on an American citizen. But anyway, define projection, which is, throwing the blame on someone else for what you're doing. What is known? Connections them to Russia / other foreign assets, question mark. Who commands INSCOM? All right, the guy's name is Paul, I think it's Nakasone. And who commands no such agency? Well, no, INSCOM, excuse me, got that wrong. Paul Nakasone is NSA, and the guy who commands the other one, I have it in my notes, hang on, his name is Captain Matthew R. Moreland. He took over on June 15th, okay? And then Q says, who has ultimate command? All right, ultimate command, I would think that's the president, just my guess. All right, this is a batch of stories. Well, let's start with this. Define treason. Fact. The offense of attempting by overt acts to overthrow the government of the state to which the offender owes allegiance, or to kill or personally injure the sovereign or the sovereign's family, the betrayal of trust, treachery. All right. I also looked it up on the Cornell Law School website. It says to give aid and comfort to the enemy, to levy war against the U.S., and the penalties are death, imprisonment for not less than 5 years, fined not less than $10,000, and cannot hold office in the future. I think that's kind of strange. You go from death to, you got to pay at least $10,000. That doesn't quite make sense, but whatever. I guess it just depends on how bad the treason is. So these are a sample of what Q is calling the treason fiction that the mainstream media is perpetrating or promoting. Americans have forgotten what treason actually means and how it can, whatever. Treason, Trump's actions, Russia, Putin meeting, treason at the LA Times, Haaretz, Jewish publication, did Trump commit treason? Bill Maher and John Brennan agree he has. Newsweek, Bill Maher calls Trump a traitor. Conversation, former CIA Director John Brennan. Same thing from the New York Times, Trump-Russia investigation is treasonous, or is investigating Trump for treason. Is Trump treasonous? Here's the legal and historical answer. Okay, you get the gist, right? Define projection. Again, putting on Trump what they are doing. What is the penalty for treason? And then it takes us to this court-martial manual, which we've already looked at in previous Q posts. All right, now this, got it, it's hard to see here. I'll read it to you. It says, do you believe in coincidences? And this is the Xbox post from, I think it was last week. And anyone having problems with Xbox Live accounts shortly after the drop yesterday, the purge, how many coincidences before mathematically impossible? Q, and this is an outage map of Xbox Live. Then Q says, do you believe in coincidences? Nothing to see here. Now I do have a better picture of this. Let me go to it. So many tabs open. Oh, it's ridiculous. Okay, so you can see it a little bit better. Text, emails, Gmail, drafts, Gmail, ham comms, chat logs, and then James Comey, Bruce Orr, Christopher Steele, Loretta Lynch, number 2, Nellie Orr, and then Sally Yates, bonus round Q. Defend Google at all costs, and here's a sample. And Google, the president came down hard on Google, as he should, because they are just being ridiculous about shadow banning, or I don't know what you call it. You can't use Google as a search engine anymore because all you get is hatred for Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, Google conspiracy theory. Donald Trump, Google rigged. Okay, let's go to what Trump actually said about, here's what, okay, so Trump said this today, or actually, sorry, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Google search results for Trump news shows only the viewing and reporting of fake news media. In other words, they have it rigged for me and others so that almost all stories and news is bad. Fake CNN is prominent. Republicans, conservative, and fair media is shut out. Illegal? 90% of results on Trump news are from national left-wing media. Very dangerous. Google and others are suppressing voices of conservatives and hiding information and news that's good. They are controlling what we can and cannot see. This is a very serious situation. Will be addressed. Okay, you see all these things. Google to be regulated, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and others. These people are stupid. Censorship with no consequences? How do you set a trap? Open the door and we shall always walk through and take control. Q. All right, here's another gigantic post, 1947. All right, so here's that Iran story. I already basically told you about it, them censoring Rouhani, a sign that the pragmatists are losing sway. And then Q says Hassan Rouhani, who paid Hussein, that would be Barack Hussein Obama, to attend Harvard Law School. It was Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, the deposed prince of Saudi Arabia. Why would Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, and Trump calls him the dopey prince, Saudi royal, pay Hussein to attend Harvard Law School? Was Hussein a prominent political figure or a person of influence at the time? No. Who is Valerie Jarrett? She's his handler, possibly, his right-hand person. Where was she born? She was born in Iran. When did Valerie Jarrett hire Michelle Robinson? You know, that's Michelle Obama. 1991. Timeline. So here he gives us a headline. 1991, they got engaged in a simple and sweet way. How did Barack and Michelle meet? Who is Mayor, former Richard Daley? Okay, I'm from Chicago. Richard Daley. Yeah, the mob king in Chicago. Who is Mayor, current Rahm Emanuel of Chicago, highest crime rate, or maybe it's Baltimore, I don't know. Hussein should be very nervous. Brennan should be very nervous. Kerry should be very nervous. Merkel should be very nervous. And 29 others. All right, now we're going to talk about the Iran cash. How were the pallets of cash divided? How many planes were used to transport? Who operated the planes? What shadow agency directed the operations? Why wasn't the money simply wire transferred? I was reading a couple of articles and Barack Obama said, oh, it was impossible. We just couldn't wire transfer the money. They did it so that it wouldn't be tracked and so they could split it up. U.S. had the authority to open bank-to-bank transfers. How do you prevent financial transfer logs? How were the cash withdrawals in the EU categorized or labeled? Where did the cash originate from? Well, it says some of it, the two kinds of money that they named were euros and Swiss francs. I don't know about the others. What time of day did the withdrawals occur? Who provided the security? Why wasn't Congress notified? Because they used a backdoor treasury something to do it. Why wasn't the U.S. government kept in the dark? Or why was the U.S. government kept in the dark? U.S. law broken? Did all planes land in the same location, an airport? Why did one particular plane land outside of Iran? Why was a helicopter involved? Who did the money go to? How do you audit a foreign aid block transfer? You can't. Did Rouhani keep unknown communications as insurance? What agency collects all forms of data? What agency did Snowden work for originally? The NSA. And he also worked for the CIA. Did he train on the farm? Yes. I think he was at the farm originally, and then in 2013 he joined the NSA. Defined contractor. Define the PRISM program. What year did Snowden release specific details of PRISM? Mid-2013? Impact. Limit NSA's ability to utilize and collect data. Fake news push for congressional restrictions. Open source push to create counter defense. Purpose. Blue skies for clown op. In other words, a CIA operation. When was the Joint Plan of Action, the Iran deal, executed? Late 2013? Do you believe in coincidences? Nothing to see here. Just even reading that makes your blood boil, doesn't it? Just the amount of criminality here. All right, so now we're going to go to this guy's, I gotta find it. Like I said, I have so many things open. Okay, so here's this guy's Twitter. Trump, Google has taken advantage of a lot of people. If you look at what is going on at Twitter, look at what is going on in Facebook, they better be careful. Google and Twitter and Facebook, they're really treading on troubled territory. And this is from Tuesday at 3:24 p.m. Back to Q. This is an old, 2 weeks ago, an old post. And this is about the findings on the tremendous abuse in Pennsylvania, 300 priests molesting more than 1,000 children. Q says, House of God, only the beginning. Those who you are taught to trust the most, ... expect many, many, many similar reports to surface from around the world. It goes a lot deeper, connected. The choice to know will be yours. Then this, U.S. Holy See relations. Remember Callista, I guess her name is Callista Gingrich, Newt Gingrich's wife, is the ambassador to the Holy See. The Holy See is the universal government of the Catholic Church that operates from Vatican City State, a sovereign, independent territory. The Pope is the ruler of both Vatican City State and the Holy See. The Holy See, as the supreme body of government of the Catholic Church, is a sovereign judicial entity under international law. And then here's the paperwork on that, and Q says wealth, power, sanctuary against criminal prosecution, recipe for, and then a bunch of dots. Q. Yeah, I would say. Recipe for people to hide and to seek refuge there. All right, so somebody says, just hit me in early drops. Q mentioned Godfather 3. Let me see if I can get this whole thing on here. Michael Corleone is fighting the corrupt elements of the Vatican in Godfather 3. And then Q says, we the people, and the people are Q. Okay, then this next one, Iron Eagle. This is going to show us some symbolism of the Illuminati and the deep state and all those Satanists. So here's the Nazi, the swastika, and the eagle, and Q says double meanings exist. Right. Gonna go over here. My computer is not liking this at all. Okay, so here's the anti-fascist flags from Germany, the Communist Party in Germany in 1933, and the 2017 Antifa flag. Stay local, U.S. Global equals reflection of local. Think mirror. In other words, don't look all over the world. Think mirror. Know your enemy. Every battle is won before it's ever fought. Knowledge is power. Remember at the start of this, we heard from the guy talking from Some of All Fears, talking about Nazism and how easy it is today to spread fascism because of our ability to communicate. And then this one, Nazi pin tag with communist symbol. So here's the sickle and the hammer and this little cross in here. And then we have the same type of symbolism. There's the hammer and the sickle and the Pope. And then we have, can't really see, but I'm assuming there's that same cross, Gloria Vanderbilt, Anderson. I think this is Anderson Cooper. There's his brother who committed suicide, supposedly. And Q says symbolism will be their downfall. Okay. All right, then this one. Sorry, my computer doesn't like it. Do not force those yet ready. Oh boy, is that ever true. You ever try to wake people up that don't want to hear it? Some people can just barely make it through the day and they don't want to know. The fake news narrative, make-believe, has been ingrained for a long time. Do not isolate yourself within your own family. Dark to light, truth will shine. Impossible to defend all this evil. Impossible to ignore. Eventually, it is going to get that way. Stay strong. You're not alone. Patriots all. Okay, then this is a post from Cassandra Fairbanks on Twitter. Demetrios Pagortzits was a Columbiner. He had the same button that Dylan Klebold wore on his shoe during the Columbine massacre. Lots of Columbiners wear this button, and I don't know if you can see it, and it is a red star, and then here's more paraphernalia, Nazi stuff. And Q says, he quotes this, I think Jim Holt is with, I don't know, okay, Gateway Pundit, yeah. All right, from May 18th of 2018, breaking Santa Fe High School killer wore Antifa and Columbine hammer and sickle pin. All right, and Q says, it's always been out in the open. You just have to look. You must stay together. Together you're strong. Symbolism equals the end. Q. We're getting to the end of this stuff, guys. I didn't think I was going to make it in one shot, but I think I will. All right, buy a history book published 20 years ago, buy a history book published 10 years ago, buy a history book published this year. Compare. Focus on World War I and World War II. Something alarming will be discovered. Okay. Guess we'll probably have to pray and just for God to give us strength for that one. There's a reason why we continue to highlight this speech. And that's, again, the Trump speech that I'm going to eventually make a transcript of and read it. Listen carefully. Truth and Honesty, Part 2, Rally, Red October. Mouthpieces do not think or speak for themselves. And we are not mouthpieces here either, nor are we just parroting what Q tells us. We are researchers. Okay, this is from February 22nd this year. Clowns revealed in China, other, 2010. And then, okay, so this is a story, and I wrote about this. There were a couple dozen people that the CIA had hired as spies in China. So they were Chinese nationals. And the Chinese government found them, imprisoned some, and killed others. That's the 187 in brackets. Sold intelligence. All right, Hillary's open source server. Missing emails, CrowdStrike. And then Q says, it's not, Chinese hackers got into Hillary's computer, and he says, no, they didn't break in. They were granted access. The U.S. was betrayed. Only the tip. This will be made public soon. And then he says it's trending on non-MSM or non-mainstream media outlets. The story. China hacked Hillary's server. False. Access was granted. You have more than you know. All right, 1959. Okay, this is Richard Pollock. He was interviewed on Hannity, and I only caught a couple minutes of it in the car. Pro tip, look at CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike managed the infiltration program based on payments to the Clinton Foundation. So when the DNC server was hacked, or actually it was Seth Rich that took the data, but when they discovered that they'd had a security breach, instead of allowing the FBI to examine the server, they had CrowdStrike, which is a quote-unquote independent company, come in and make an evaluation. Well, it's just another Hillary, organization. And this is a huge story. I did some researching on it, and basically Terry McAuliffe, who was running for governor of Virginia, was given $120,000 by a Chinese guy named Wang, and he gave a, I don't remember how much now, but I want to say a million something to Hillary's campaign. Might have been more than that. Anyway, I'm sorry, I can't remember, and it's buried in my notes somewhere. But he shouldn't have, except that because he had a green card, he was allowed to donate tons of money to Hillary and then money to McAuliffe. Um, Otherwise, if you don't have a green card as a foreigner, you're not allowed to donate. So the headline is Clinton Foundation McAuliffe donor caught up in Chinese cash for votes scandal. Oh, that's right. He didn't give money to Hillary directly. He gave it to the Clinton Foundation. All right. So anyway, that is a big story there. I'm sorry I don't have time to go into it. And I'm just going to kind of blow through the rest of these. Here's this woman who's it's kind of a sad little story here that she and her husband and their dogs, and they can't talk about the president to their family members. And you can just hear her heart. She's speaking from the Netherlands, and Q says, "You're not alone, patriot. You are part of history. Never in our history has this been attempted. God bless you and your family. Stay strong. Stay the course. Where we go one, we go all." Okay, and then this from the New York Times, China CIA spies espionage, and that's at, I had that up earlier. Let me see if I can quickly find it. My computer just does not like this. Okay, killing CIA informants, China crippled U.S. spying operations. And so that's a story that I gave you a little bit ago. It's happened 2010 through the end of 2012. China killed at least a dozen of the CIA sources. Others were put in jail. And effectively, they unraveled a network that had taken years to build. Q says, or someone asks, Q, relevant, yes, to the HRC server sweepstakes giveaway? And obviously it was, and we talked about it. All right, then this, so Dianne Feinstein, for 20 years, employed a guy that was a Chinese national, and he was a spy for China. And she pretends that she's mortified to find out that this guy was working for her. But instead of firing him once the FBI told her about it, she just let him retire. Q says, mortified? What's the purpose of a bridge? Connecting to, so the spy is the bridge. It's like the Bridge of Spies, Anyway, that movie with Tom Hanks. Patriot, a little perspective. Patriots are dying to defend this great country and the freedom she provides. Children are being kidnapped, tortured, raped, and sacrificed in the name of pure evil. Stay the course. We're fighting a deeply entrenched army. Think Lisa Barsoomian. Smile. That's Rod Rosenstein's wife. 2018 will be glorious. Q. Well, we still have a few months left for the glorious things to happen. All right, amen, Q. For those of us who have stayed the course for 20 plus years, we have gone alone. Anyway, talking about the penalties for speaking truth have been severe. It wasn't worth speaking till now. Thank you, Q. Q says the world is now united. History books. Fake news suppression creates a false reality. This movement is bigger than you can imagine. Silent majority, no more. Will be glorious. In my humble opinion, sir, it already is. Q responds, in our opinion, until those responsible are dead and or suffering, it shall remain, will be. Getting close to the end. That's great, but where are the arrests? Patriots fight. That's the Q board. Read, comprehend, use logic, Q. So whenever you think things aren't happening, reread the Q posts and you will remind yourself that they are happening. Q, so what's up with Assange? Q says, do you remember that our enemies are also monitoring this board? See above, reflect, use logic. Q. Where we go one, we go all. The tanks, boss, it sure was lonely before you came along. Thank you guys for taking these risks and concocting the plan. We're all in this together. We are all right here for this purpose. Love you guys. And Q says, no one person is above another. Why does the fake news media put so much time, energy, effort into attacking a so-called conspiracy? Those who are attacked the most are the biggest threat. Logic wins every single time. Q. All right, and I have not done my homework on this. Pazer, that'll be in my next video. Hey Q, does P equal Pazer? When do we start seeing the pain? And that must be what it is. And P, we thought it was the Pindar. It's up there in the triangle, you know, the three sides of the triangle, removing the different sides. So you had Saudi Arabia side removed, the Rothschilds, I think, was another side. And Pindar was, we thought, was at the top, but the P is Pazer, I guess. All right, and I apologize. I haven't had time to do anything on this. Okay, treason. Thanks for selling all of our secrets to the highest bidder, Hillary. She should be locked up. Q says, you didn't think military planes were falling out of the skies all within a short period of time just by chance, did you? Outside of the standard deviation? Q. And so that would apply to the Q has said in the past that 7 out of 10 plane accidents are not accidents. And the military planes, you know, we've been running out of parts. Last year, well, before Trump took over, it seemed like every week there was another military crash. It was like, gosh, don't run those training missions. They're too dangerous. I'm glad that's over. All right, then this is Sarah Carter's article again. Bruce Orr, FBI knew about the bias before getting a FISA on Carter Page. So they knew about the bias by Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and others in the FBI who had it out for Trump, and they knew about that. The FBI knew about all of that before they got the warrant on Carter Page. He says, bigger than Watergate, biggest scandal in U.S. history, and crickets, nothing. Fake news. Desperate to shelter. Define shelter. A place giving temporary protection from bad weather or danger. Q. All right, and Q says, are you watching Hannity? Did you hear what the Texas congressman just stated? Huber or Q. And I think that was Louis Gohmert. I'm not sure. I will get back to you on that. I'm going to have to make a list of things I need to get back to you on. If the fake Steele dossier constituted the bulk of the facts submitted to the FISA court to obtain FISA warrants against POTUS, the dossier was dismissed as fake or baseless. Okay, so it never would have made it if they hadn't believed that or pretended that the dossier was true, even though Comey said they knew it was salacious and unverified. If Mueller was appointed as special counsel based on the dossier, and the dossier was proved to be fake or disinformation, and the dossier was proved to be the bulk of the information submitted to the FISA court in order to obtain the warrants, plus FISA signers premeditated neglect to disclose the actual facts, they were lied to, then how is Mueller still special counsel? Okay, so the judges on the court were not told the truth, and so how is it that Mueller is still the special counsel? Bruce Orr never called to testify regarding Mueller until today. Mueller investigating Russia collusion, ? Why would Mueller not contact Bruce Orr? I guess he didn't want to know the truth. Bruce Orr was the back channel between the FBI, DOJ, and Steele. They met with him 60 times, and Steele was the one who wrote the dossier. Why wouldn't Mueller seek testimony? Mueller, impeach POTUS operation? If impeachment is the goal via the retaking the House, the midterms, does it still not require a 2/3 vote in the Senate? Yes, it does. What will the 20 FISA fourth warrant disclose? Trust the plan. Huber has everything. Okay, my brain is starting to get fried, guys. It's 1:13 a.m., so we're going to just get through this the best we can, and I'll come back and fill in the holes. All right, Trump's status. What are the odds that the FBI and DOJ are right on top of this? So let's go back to the president's Twitter, and get out of that. All right. Report just out. China hacked Hillary Clinton's private email server. Are they sure it wasn't Russia? Just kidding. What are the odds that the FBI and DOJ are right on top of this? Actually, a very big story, much classified information. Okay, and then Judiciary Senate Gov documents. I'm afraid to open this because I think my computer might crash. Number 21 through 25. Today, Barack Obama. Bruce Orr testimony and Assets Document Cloud documents the Attorney General letter regarding the Inspector General and Huber reviews. And then this is Breitbart, and this is an old article. We've looked at it many times. Jonathan Turley, who's a legal analyst, says Sessions using Utah federal prosecutor much better than Trump appointing a special counsel or somebody doing that for Trump. All right, then Donald Trump's status again, big statement, what's coming? I guess I could try going here and see what happens. It's like, Hugh, you just dumped so much. Okay, Hillary's emails, many of which are classified information, got hacked by China. Next move better be by the FBI and DOJ, or, after all of their other missteps, Comey, McCabe, Strzok Page, or FISA, dirty dossier, etc., their credibility will be forever gone. Yeah, amen, Mr. President. Okay, so maybe he's going to declassify everything. Why is POTUS pushing the FBI and DOJ on this issue? What if access to the servers was deliberate? What if this access is known within the intelligence community? In other words, wow, what if they knew that China was accessing because it was all part of the plan, their evil plan? What if this is known within the FBI and DOJ? If known, why no action? How might this discredit the FBI's investigation into Hillary's emails? How might this open the door to Weiner, Uma, Hillary? Logical thinking. Why was the information on Weiner's laptop in the first place? D5Q, and that D5 avalanche, the worst order of avalanche. Okay, and then he's got this. He says reconcile, 1 equals 1, 1 equals 0. Evidence of an ongoing investigation. Dare I open this? I'm going to close out some other stuff so I can see if I can get this without my computer having a fit. If you guys saw my computer, you would laugh. It's just this dinky laptop. Office of the Inspector General, okay, review of various actions by the FBI and the DOJ in advance of the 2016 election. This is published in June of 2018. This is the mid-year investigation and the executive summary. All right, let's go back to, I kind of lost my place with Q. He says reconcile, 1 equals 1, 1 equals 0. I don't get it, Q. Okay. Then he says, oh, all right, so he made an error, swap of within. Long day, no kidding. Evidence in an ongoing investigation. All right. And then this just happened. So I guess that's it. All right. What if a paper trail exists? President's daily briefing via no such agency. Hussein made aware with no action. Why did POTUS refuse selected president's daily briefings during the transition? Remember that they had a fit when he said he didn't want to see it. He said I don't need to see it every day. So obviously, Trump never does anything without having strategy times 10 behind it. So who knew? Threat assessment. Admiral Rogers? Michael Flynn? Why did Hussein and Hillary and admin and staff and others use private emails to communicate? Because they didn't want it being caught. Was Hillary the only one to use an unsecured server? No, we know that Barack did. We know that Um, Even Colin Powell said somewhere, I remember, he was like, yeah, well, basically, everybody does it, so why should she be in trouble? If access was granted regarding Hillary's private servers, can you assume access was granted regarding House servers and Awan? Yeah, I would think Debbie Wasserman Schultz wanted Imran Awan to have access to the servers. Awan, yes, he was part of Pakistani intelligence, and we know that the data that he took off the House Democrat servers that had classified information on it, he gave to a buddy or his dad's friend who was ex CIA for Pakistan, and he took it and gave it to their intelligence. Yeah, and Awan is walking free. That really makes me very unhappy. Ummah, Muslim Brotherhood, matters of national security, Q. Okay, and that, my friends, is the end. All right, and I'm just going to pray. Father, you know that this is more than your people can handle sometimes. But Father, we trust you. We trust that you have a great plan, and your great plan is to punish the wicked. Your great plan is to reward those who diligently seek you, that we can take shelter under your wings, that we have a place of safety with you, and that the Lord Jesus promised he would never leave us or forsake us. Father, give us all a pathway to walk in to wake up our friends and our relatives, our co-workers, our neighbors. Give us a path to walk in. And Father, we pray that when there will come a day when the mainstream media can no longer hide and it all comes out and all the criminals will be exposed and all their willing accomplices in the mainstream media will be exposed and all the money that was stolen from the American people, Father, it will be returned. I'm just asking for that. I ask that the land that the enemy stole from us, Father, that you will return, and the things that the locusts have eaten, you will return, Father. I pray for all the people who are listening, and I thank you for their patience, Father, and I pray for them that we would all just remain steadfast in our trust and our faith and our hope, because hope is faith, and hope and faith in you never disappoints. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time.